Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence starts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Permission to board. Permission to come aboard. Permission to board. Permission to bring me aboard. Permission to come aboard.
Welcome to the Permission Granted podcast. Here's D.A.
All right, welcome inside the freshest edition, fresh squeeze of the Permission Granted podcast. As you all know, there are two versions of podcasts for us. They're all in the same feed. One is the actual on-air show, and one is this off-air stuff or uncut stuff on the Permission Granted podcast. You can get them all by going to our iTunes feed and our SoundCloud feed. Go to either one of those platforms and simply search The DA Show on CBS Sports. Coming up, we'll talk to Vic Dibitetto, who actually ended up as a comedian grinding away for years, and he has such an awesome story. Vic was a stand-up. He actually did comedy and drove a sanitation truck, and he did this for years, and was, you know, a really funny guy, but just did the stand-up act and, you know, toured the country doing this. And then not long ago, boom, he went viral in a completely modern story. He had one 30-second video on YouTube that ended up getting so much traction and making him almost, a household name in a lot of ways. You might not know the name Vic Dibitetto, but you probably know the milk and bread guy. And it's a small 30-second vignette of him just on his own phone, videotaping himself, and he's freaking out, running out of the house, talking about getting milk and bread, milk and bread, bread and milk, bread and milk, bread and milk, milk and bread, because the snowstorm is coming. The hysteria that grips all of us whenever snow hits and the local weather people and news people are like, Armageddon's coming. This ended up getting millions of views basically overnight, and now is up to like 14 million views. And that set everything in motion for him. So I love his story. He's a super funny guy. He's going to join us here on the show coming up here momentarily. I'm really excited about that. Also, this is the week of our Zubaz rock music video shoot, and the week that Mraz admits that he didn't know that Christopher Columbus was not a pilgrim. That's all straight ahead here on the Permission Granted podcast. But we begin, as I mentioned before, with comedian Vic Dibitetto. Vic, what's going on?
Never better, D.A., never better.
It is great to have you here on the show. Man, you're a busy dude these days.
Forget about it. It's just amazing what's going on this past year. I do these viral videos, and 2 years ago, Bread and Milk went viral, then Justin Bieber and Kanye West, that went viral. Kevin James put me in a movie. I'm selling out clubs. Who the hell am I to complain?
Pretty good life you got going on. Pretty good role you got going on, and the bread and milk thing went viral, and I got to tell you, that was sent to me about 14 different times from friends, from family, on my Facebook page, whatever. Everyone's like, you got to see this, and it was hysterical. Obviously, everybody that lives in cold weather climates knows this kind of hysteria that envelops us when snow comes down. So what was the inspiration there?
Well, just what you said. It hit a nerve. Once I opened a door, I saw a snowflake, and I thought what everybody else, in the Northeast thought. Here we go. People are going to think it's the apocalypse. They're going to rush to the supermarket to get bread and milk. For what reason, I haven't the slightest idea. But I posted it. I thought it was stupid. I almost deleted it. My wife said, you never know. Keep it on. Always listen to the wives.
Is it just me, or has the hysteria around the weather, because I'm a native New Yorker as well, has it gotten worse and worse over the years? I don't remember it being this crazy like 15, 20 years ago.
I was born in the snowstorm of 61, February 9th. The problem is the weathermen. They scare us. They make it more than what it is. They got all these fancy names, polar vortex. When we were kids, it was called winter. Then it's 20 degrees, but it feels like 16. So say it's 16. If it feels like 16, say it's 16. If it's 2 degrees in August, there's your story.
So it's like just a 30-second vignette that you do. It's hysterical. You're sniveling. You're crazy. You got the snow coming in. And then it goes like there's millions of views. When did you know the thing was taking off?
Over the weekend. I posted it February 8th. It went viral. Get this, on my birthday, February 9th.
There you go.
It's up to 14 million hits.
Unreal.
And you know what it is? You know what it is? It struck a nerve. And I have it's up to 14, and every time there's a winter anywhere in the country or in the world, the views go up. This is the video. It's like the Jason of videos. It keeps coming back. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
So you're a sports fan. A bunch of your vignettes have to do with sports, including what I love, Italian Super Bowl Sunday. What is an Italian Super Bowl Sunday for those that don't know, the uninitiated?
Well, instead of pretzels and chips, it's mozzarella and supersad. And wine. That's another thing. Had the media and the commercials. They force you out. The Super Bowl, you got to eat. So I took like the bread and milk to a different level. Now I'm stuffing my face because they said it's the Super Bowl. So I got to stuff my face because why? It's the Super Bowl.
It's the American tradition. If football is on, you are forced to eat gluttonous amounts.
Yes. And let me tell you something. The bread and milk video is 29 seconds. That 29 seconds got me more recognition than 33 years of stand-up. It's just phenomenal. It really is.
And your story in stand-up is great. I mean, you were actually doing stand-up as you were driving a sanitation truck for years, like almost 20 years, right?
I drove my garbage truck. My run was in Midtown Manhattan. I once drove the truck to Dangerfields on First Avenue, went on stage, did my set, went back in the truck to finish my run. As I'm pulling away, I'm honking the horn. The audience is waving to me. I mean, come on. You think Seinfeld ever had to do that? Come on.
But I got to ask you, Vic, where the hell do you park a sanitation truck in Midtown Manhattan?
Oh, you double park. You're picking up garbage. I even took the garbage for Dangerfield. I threw in a couple of bags, went on stage, and cops don't bother you. You put on your four-ways. That's when New York was different. That's when cops let you go with certain things. Today, it's all politically correct. I grew up in the wrong. I always tell my wife, I wish I grew up in the 40s and 50s. I grew up in the wrong era.
You know, you can't drive in Manhattan or anywhere in the five boroughs with just a normal four-door sedan. I don't know how the hell you drove a pickup truck or a dump truck, a garbage truck. That seems like it would be a migraine headache every single day.
Well, don't forget, my run was like 12 in the morning, 12 midnight to 5 in the morning. So I really beat the heart of it. I mean, I even drove a dump truck and a cement truck in Midtown Manhattan. That's a challenge in those narrow streets.
Oh my gosh, yeah, with the one-ways and the cobblestone streets, that's crazy.
Yes.
So you're doing this for 18 years or almost 19 years or what have you when you're doing the sanitation truck and you're doing how did you find time to do the stand-up in the middle of all that?
Oh, I did it during, like I said, I do it during the run, or I managed. I mean, when I do the Borgata, Atlantic City, the hotel in Atlantic City, I'm booked there 7 nights. I would drive back and forth from where I live in Central Jersey, sleep 3 hours, go to Staten Island and drive a school bus and do my run for 7 nights, back and forth. I'm the working man's comedian. That's why my audience, I draw a blue-collar audience, and people relate to me.
So half my family is Italian and New Yorkers, and I love the bit that you do about growing up Italian in New York, and you're not allowed to get out of the basement. You have to grow up down in the basement. And my grandma had the plastic on the sofas, and it was always the most miserable experience.
Yep, the picture of Jesus Christ shaking hands with Frank Sinatra. I mean, come on. You can't make this. I didn't see upstairs till I was 5 years old. You know, you had the ropes on the stairs. You weren't allowed to. It was like the last time I saw the stairs, I had to put the coats on the bed for Thanksgiving.
It's a great parenting tool, though, right? To just throw the kids in the basement and be like, you stay down there for the weekend.
Yes, but it's different now. Now I live in Jersey. I got a crawl space. There's no room even to put the Christmas tree down there.
You also got some Yankee vignettes going on, locker room vignettes that you have on your YouTube channel. You a Yankee fan?
I pee pinstripes. I love the Yankees. As a matter of fact, it's the only sport I really follow. I haven't a clue about hockey or basketball. My father took me my first game at Yankee Stadium. I was right behind Joe Pepitone, and the needle was hooked. That's it. And I make these videos, and I speak. What I say in my videos is what every true Yankee fan says is saying in their head. It's not politically correct. It's not sugar-coated. I tell it like it is, and it's got a following now. And if I don't make one, if it's the game, they're on Facebook. Where's my vignette? Your vignettes are the only thing getting me to another miserable season.
Yeah, this one might not be so good. So what's your thoughts on A-Rod?
You know what? He's doing good right now. It's the same old story in this country. If you're doing good, people love you. I don't care if he's taking drugs or not. If he's getting the hits, hey, you know, what does that tell you? That A-Rod is the best hitter on the Yankees right now. You know,
Yeah.
I just wish they're like a bipolar team. Now that Sabathia finally had a good game, the hitting didn't come around. It's like being a Yankee fan is like being addicted to heroin. You want to quit so bad, but you just can't. And I don't know. And then seeing Didi Gregorius instead of Jeter, it's tough. This is a tough year, man.
Well, so
especially with the Mets having a phenomenal season, that doesn't help.
no, I'm sure you got Mets fans rubbing it in your face.
Please, they're all crawling out from under their rocks now. Let me see what they say in October, please. I love that false sense of hope they have every year. And if you're a Mets fan, relax. It's a joke. Relax.
Well, believe me, as a Mets fan myself, I realize that the bottom could fall out and probably will fall out at any time. But just like that dip of heroin, you just got to keep coming back, man.
Exactly. Look, all kidding aside, the Mets deserve it. I mean, Yankee fans are spoiled. I mean, I'm in my garage right now because I'm not allowed to put all my stuff in the house. This is my man cave. I mean, Jesus, let the Mets have it. Let them, really. The Yankees, I don't know. We're entering the Horace Clarke days now. We're entering the dark ages. I don't see another playoff till another, I don't know, couple of years. I'm all right with that. I still enjoy watching the Yankees.
Do you think CeCe dipped into the Italian Super Bowl spread that you were talking about?
And not only the Italian, he probably did the Seoul, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Hungarian, you name it, he ate it. That guy, I don't understand. He had all winter. I don't know. I don't care if he pitches great and you're fat, but if you don't pitch, I mean, with all these, you know what's sad about the Yankees? That guy Donahue, he's our trainer. The Yankees trainer looks like they need a trainer. You want a guy with Joe Girardi looks like a trainer, even though he looks like a white Mike Tyson, doesn't he?
That's pretty good. Yeah,
looks like a white Mike Tyson.
Never noticed that. Well, there's a lot of good Italian spots around in the Bronx, so I'm sure all the strength and conditioning guys probably go out after the game or before the game and just house like calzones.
Yeah. Arthur Avenue. A lot of the ball players live just up north of Harrison and Westchester. A lot of Mariano's got a restaurant up there.
Yeah. Yeah,
gentleman. I met him I did a private party for Kakuza, the guy that does the equipment for the Yankees. I met him in the elevator. What a gentleman. Class. Him, Jeter, class. That's the way, nice. I hate these players that get into trouble and they got an attitude. Just stay. Lou Gehrig, man. Even though I never saw him, I wasn't even born when he played. That's my idol. The guy played with broken bones and fevers. This Teixeira, I watch him. I cringe when I watch him swing the bat or even walk to first base.
Because he always looks like he's about to fall apart.
Yeah, he looks like Princess William, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's pretty good. He does look like Prince William. So much of your bit and your humor revolves around your New York roots and upbringing. When you do stuff across the country, do people kind of get it less, or does it still resonate and connect with people?
Basically, when I go across the country, I bring out the Italian audience from like Chicago, Boston. But you know what? I slow it down. I tone it down. But you just got to eliminate the Italian part of it. I'm very universal. I mean, everybody has a wife and kids. It's all the same. I mean, I get from different nationalities when I come off stage. Oh, my God, you hit home. You described my family. But if you're Italian, it does add another edge to it.
So you could kind of tailor your the stuff that you will do to the audience and to the place that you're performing for.
Exactly. You do your research on the area. You replace different cities and different names. You slow it down because I'm high energy. I'm nonstop. The spit is flying. I mean, people in California, they see me. They're like staring at me like I'm a Best Buy, an Amish guy at Best Buy.
Well, you say that you grew up in the wrong era, but what technology has allowed your career to flourish, like you were talking about the YouTube and the vignettes, that is such a modern piece of being a comedian these days. That could have never happened years ago. Got to be thankful for that, right?
Good point. Wow, double-edged sword there. Yes, I'm the only comic in my 50s that used the social media. You know what? No one was helping me out for 33 years. I said, you know what? The hell with it. I can't wait anymore. I'm going to do it myself. And between Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, Instagram, it's just I got young kids following me. I got a wide demographics. I do characters. I got parents sending me videos of their little kids doing my characters. I was on World Star Hip Hop when I did the Kanye West. I got black people love me, old people love me, young people love me. I got a great. That's what boggles my mind. How no TV executive producer in California has seen a light bulb over their head. I got 34 million total views with all my vignettes. I am so marketable, but yet I forge ahead. I'm going to keep doing it my way until somebody throws me a line.
Well, you're in Paul Blart Mall Cop 2, so that's a pretty big deal. That's got a big marketing budget as well. And it's kind of crazy how that came about. Like, Kevin James just randomly called you one day, right?
Yes. See, we started together at the East Side Comedy Club in Huntington, Long Island about 25 years ago. You know, we did the circuit together. We weren't buddies. We knew of each other. We worked on a few gigs together. Obviously, he went on to become the King of Queens. I went on to drive a garbage truck. Fast forward 25 years later, he calls me. He says, Vic, it's Kevin James. I almost hung up on him. I'm like, really, who is this? He starts laughing. He says, look, I've been watching your stuff on YouTube. One of your characters gave me a great idea. I'm going to send you the script in 20 minutes. Let me know what you think. Now, I'm like Ralph Cramden.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he sends me the script. The character's called Gino Cisetti. And fast forward, I did the premiere last month with walking the red carpet with Kevin James, and now I'm in a movie. It made $24 million opening weekend. It's just surreal. I'm telling my wife as we're walking up the red carpet, you got to pinch me. You got to keep pinching me. I can't believe this.
What'd your wife think about the red carpet experience?
Oh, forget it. I've never. She's in the movie, by the way, for a couple of seconds at the very end. She's standing right next to me. I've never seen her happier. She's got a glow. And here's a woman that stayed home on weekends for 33 years so her husband could pursue her dream. I mean, just watching her smile, that's worth it right there.
So it's got to be fulfilling for her as well to have watched you grind for as long as that and make the sacrifices and then really succeed. That's got to be awesome for her.
Absolutely. There's nothing more frustrating than being a comic than being married to one. Believe me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not all fun and games at home. Trust me.
Yeah, I feel like this is also Mall Cop 2 is going to play like on TNT or USA Network like in perpetuity forever. So you'll probably be getting royalties for the next 65 years.
Without a doubt. That's what some people are telling me that were on the movie. Then it goes to Netflix and DVD, and you know what it is? If you watch all of Kevin's movies, he's got the same guys in there. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not dependent on it, but you never know. And if not, maybe somebody else will see me on the big screen. And but like I said, I'm selling out clubs. I mean, with this past year, what has happened, the ladder I've gone up is phenomenal. And I'm just thankful that the fruits of my labor is finally paying off.
So you'll be okay if Kevin James opts out of Mall Cop 5 and then you become Paul Blart's, like, Mall Cop?
I'll be happy if I'm the Segway and he rides me. You kidding me? But I know. The way this one ends, there's a possibility for a 3. I don't know. And I just want to say something to all the naysayers out there. If you're going and you think you're going to see The Godfather or Citizen Kane, it's not going to happen. This is a silly, fun, stupid family movie. There's no cursing. See, Kevin James, there's morals, there's values. Some critics are knocking it. The guy, he's found his niche. Give the guy credit. I mean, Jesus, you know what it's like to make a movie? You know what it's like to be in a movie? It's a fun movie. You know, it's nothing, forget about, just go see it. Trust me.
It's set in Vegas. Did you guys film in Vegas?
Yeah, the Wynn Hotel. This is the first time a movie has ever been shot at the Wynn.
So how long?
We were out there 6 weeks. I was out there. I had my own suite. It was just my trailer. You're fed. You're pampered. You're licked. You're caressed. You're fondled. It's just amazing. And then after the 6 weeks, I'm back in a school bus. I mean, talk about an emotional roller coaster.
You know, you could pay to have all that stuff done in Vegas anyway. You realize you just got it for free this time.
Yeah, right on the strip. Oh, yeah. And then they wouldn't let me serve me a drink at the Peppermill Diner because I was wearing a hat. I'm like, are you kidding me? There's hookers on the strip, and you won't serve me a drink and I have a hat?
The hooker might have actually been serving you at that point.
Yeah, you're right. You look like one.
So you're going to be performing at the Westbury Music Fair, Long Island, and that's going to come up in late May. Also,
May 20. Oh God, is it 23 or 24?
Yep, 23. May 23rd.
3,000 seater. If I could fill that, I will walk on that round. I'm sure you've been there. It's the round stage.
Yeah.
I will stand on that stage and gaze at the crowd like Russell Crowe in Gladiator, and I will go, "Are you not entertained?" 3,000 people, man. That's going to be awesome.
That's going to be great. And then even earlier in May, this is just a couple of weeks away in Rhode Island, you're going to be at the Ocean State Theater. And then the week
in
after...
Warwick, Long Island, Rhode Island. I'm
Rhode
looking
Island.
forward to my Boston fans, which I know it's not far from Boston. And I love Boston. Just because I'm a Yankee fan doesn't mean I don't like Boston. It's a great historical town. I love the history. I'm just not crazy about the Red Sox, but that's another thing. To me, when I was growing up, that was a rivalry. Not like it is now. When you see Jeter and Ortiz laughing at each other on second base, something's wrong.
A lot of Italians in Rhode Island as well, man.
Yeah.
They come up from
Federal
Providence.
Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Federal Hill.
I mean, you never had Italian food like there. People think that it's only New York, but my God, the Italian food in Federal Hill is to die for.
I've been there. I love Rhode Island because of Family Guy. It's my favorite TV show.
And then May 9th, you're going to be at Count Basie's New Jersey Theater, right?
That's going to be a big one, not far from my house in Red Bank, New Jersey. It's the 100th anniversary of Frank Sinatra. I'm going to be with the Frank Sinatra Band and me. That's going to be a special show also. It's just, I'm slowly getting away from the ha-has and the hee-hees. I'm doing theaters now. I'm doing big venues now, and this movie isn't going to hurt. It's only going to give my career a boost.
And then you've got the website as well, your website where everybody can go to.
Man, you're great. Yeah. God, are you thorough. I love you. It's www.vicdibitetto.net. And if you can't spell my name right, which most people can't, just go to Google, you type in Vic D, and everything shows up. My YouTube channel, my web page, everything.
You probably, if you just type in bread and milk, it probably shows up,
yes.
All your stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even I think even if you just press bread, it's. I'm telling you, I'm on Wikipedia. I couldn't believe it.
It's like when you type bread into Google, first it comes up Wonder, and then it comes up you.
Yep. And that bread and milk video got me on a Dr. Oz show. Did you know that?
No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they did a special about milk, different types of milk. I get a call, we want you on a Dr. Oz, and it's hilarious. Dr. Oz, whatever he's going through now in the news, I don't care what people say about him. He's a gentleman. We did vignettes backstage, and I had a segment for like 10 minutes. It was hilarious.
That is too funny. You're now the bread expert and the milk expert.
I'm getting recognized. I'm going into the supermarket. There's the bread and milk guy. There's the bread. It's amazing. Even if somebody told me when they went to the movies to see Mall Cop, somebody yells out, "That's the bread and milk guy." How hilarious is that?
That is awesome, man. Well, congratulations and all the success. Looking forward to seeing you in the movie, and then with all the performances coming up this spring and into the summer. Vic, it's great to talk to you, my man. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's do it again.
I'm not blowing smoke up you know what, but of all the interviews I've done, you're one of the best. Thank you for letting me just do my thing. I appreciate it.
All right, great stuff from Vic. I love his story. Awesome stuff. And he went viral. He went viral with the video. And as I mentioned to him before, Mraz joins me now. Probably 13, 14, 15 people forwarded me that video of his when it happened.
You could not live in the world on Facebook if you went to your Facebook page when that came down and not see, I would say, 30% of your fans, friends sharing that video. It was unbelievable, and it was hysterical. It was one of those things that did not get played out when it first came out because it was that funny.
It's still really funny.
Oh, it is. Anytime the snowstorm comes now, too, that's a timeless thing. If you're in a city where Boston, New York, any of these Northeast cities or, up in Wisconsin, and snow is coming, immediately that video gets shared again and again and again, and that's going to be a timeless thing because it's so true and so funny.
So that obviously made Vic viral, and who knows, maybe the same thing happens with the Zubaz music video for us.
We can only hope. I'm really proud of the way the production crew came together there and finished that. By production crew, I mean you with an iPhone and an iMovie Maker pumping out something that looks like it should be on Fuse.
People don't realize that you could do all of that on your phone.
Incredible. You know, this is where you go back and you say, well, back in my day, I used to spin the wheel 9 times, and that's how I dialed a phone. Now you're literally filming music videos and slicing them up thanks to a phone.
So we have that music video, and look, I'm thrilled. I'm excited about our NFL draft coverage next week, and I think what's amazing is that wearing the Zubaz, people keep going, oh, my God, I can't believe you guys found 4 pairs of Zubaz. I can't believe you guys found all these Zubaz. And I keep reminding everybody, so a lot of people thought that we had kept those Zubaz for 25 years. I'm like, no, they're remaking and reissuing Zubaz. That's the only way we would be able to do this.
Internet's a wonderful place. Zubaz.com. Check them out.
Did you have Zubaz way back when? You were pretty young for Zubaz.
I was pretty young for Zubaz. Definitely did not have a pair of Zubaz.
Did your dad?
My dad did have the giant Zubaz. I distinctly remember, and I'm pretty sure he ruined them like painting or something like that.
Yeah.
It was one of those like pants you would wear painting. I definitely remember my uncles. It was one of those things like I vividly remember Zubaz as a kid. And then suddenly, I don't know if their wives made them toss them out or whatever. Like they just kind of became extinct.
Yeah.
And then seeing them resurface a year or so ago was pretty cool, and I'm all in on them.
We started talking about them. I was just thrilled to see them being reissued, and then we started talking about them on the air, and Zubaz got wind of it, and They were like, hey, we'd love to send you guys a pair. And so we were all in on that, and they sent us a few fresh pairs for the music video, and I got to say that Cool Kid James, his Oakland Raiders, which really because they're issued from like 91, 92, really are the L.A. Raiders.
Yeah, definitely the L.A. Raiders, but the silver and black, pretty sharp look.
It's really sharp. It's really slick. I thought that was great, and it was reminiscent of like an old Ice Cube or Eazy-E video. I think for Steve-O, the Seahawks were kind of perfect because it was loud and bright. And
obnoxious,
and that was definitely Steve-O. That was definitely Planet
100%. On a different play, exactly. The neon color, just a little off, if you will.
So I know you're going to have James Ward come up here and talk about it, but one of the things that really stand out about the video is that we finally found the natural habitat of Planet Steve-O.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Behind a board running commercial breaks and producing a show, not his natural habitat.
Far from it.
Very out of sorts.
He'll try to make it his natural habitat, but it is not.
Very out of sorts in a lot of ways. I've gone out and had a few beers with Steve-O. He's comfortable. He likes enjoying the beers. But I would say even more of a natural habitat is him acting goofy or like a ham or a camera hog when it comes to something like this, like a 1980s music video. He was a total natural.
And really took on a leadership role, too.
Yes.
True leader. Not something I would expect. I expect he would just laugh off everything. But he really wanted to have his fingerprint on this music video. More so than anything I've seen him want to care about before.
Yeah, he doesn't usually, I can't say he doesn't care, but he,
after seeing how he cared about the music video, I could say, I don't think he cares about anything else.
There was an intensity about Steve-O.
Intense is the right word. He had the Andy Pettit, eyes there for the playoffs. Like he was zoomed in. He was so focused on making sure every scene was hit to perfection.
He wanted to choreograph some of the steps and some of the twists, some of the jumps. He's
an original chubby checker.
he reached out to, different than a chubby chaser.
Right.
He reached out to the bus driver guy to see if we could shoot on the bus.
Oh, my heart still feels weird that he did that.
He wanted to film in all different types of different lighting and different backgrounds. I never saw him like that.
Yeah, and we had already filmed in front of a brick wall. Didn't matter that it was a different brick wall. We had to move on to something else.
Did you find it at least a little disturbing that when we did stumble upon the street with the Gentlemen's Club down here in Lower Manhattan, he was the first one to be like, oh, I'll go inside and walk out the door. He was sniffing around.
Listen, there was an alternate agenda there for Steve-O to get into that Gentlemen's Club. He said, can't be that busy right now. This might be my chance.
He was sniffing. He was like a hound dog.
Let's face it. Steve-O's the kind of guy who believes a stripper loves him. There's no question about it.
Yeah. That was the real big takeaway for me. Such a natural.
He mentioned it about 50 times. So, yes, without a doubt, something was off when it came to him in that Gentlemen's Club.
He's also already asking about the hot dog eating challenge.
Yeah, he's got to pump the brakes there.
I mean,
I don't think my body could take another challenge.
It's not even May. It's more than 2 months away.
Which just shows he felt like, he's the guy looking to take out the Triple Crown winner and the horses. He's the horse there that kind of had a good showing in the Derby. Maybe sits out the Preakness, but comes back for the Belmont and burns everybody.
I don't know. I think what ends up happening is that little things like the Chicken Challenge or the Zubaz music video really get his juices flowing. On a nightly basis, hard to keep his concentration up.
You always got to give him something to look forward to. It's like feed him a little bread at the end of the tunnel.
It's hard to get him locked in for a 4-hour show in the middle of the week. But if you can give him like an eating challenge or a music video or something, now he's totally locked in. He
is all in, but that's now we know. I think we're learning things by month with Steve-O, just how to get him on the right frame of mind.
This is the Permission Granted podcast. Coming up here next, Mraz and Cool Kid James Ward. Remember, subscribe to us on iTunes and on SoundCloud, The DA Show, CBS Sports. Just search it and you'll find it there. Or on YouTube, youtube.com/The DA Show if you want to go check out said Zubaz music video.
All right, welcome into Side B of the Permission Granted podcast. I'm the executive producer of the DA Show, Sean Mraz. Of course, if you listen every week, you know who I am. And you know who the guy is next to me here, Cool Kid James Ward. James, what's happening?
What's going on, Sean?
Nothing much, James. Just hanging out, having a good time, realizing how bad my history and my social studies is. I don't know whether to lead there or, you know what, we're going to lead with the music video. I think.
Yeah, I think if we don't bring up the music video at the beginning, we're probably burying the lead.
Right, exactly. So yeah, there's a lot of things to discuss here behind the scenes, and let's just start with the a drafty pair of Zubaz music video that we have put together that is now taking the internet by storm, really, and just incredible editing by DA with that iMovie Maker and an hour's worth of filming different shots. Your thoughts on how this came out?
I actually really liked the way it came out. I was a little hesitant, how are we going to get 4 guys in sync with an iPhone camera and an intern filming us?
Very low budget.
Very, very low budget. And as someone who has actually, believe it or not, made a high-budget music video in my life, I actually like the way this one came out better than the actual music video I made.
Is that true? Okay, so for those who don't know, James Ward, in a previous life, we had discussed this on the show while James wasn't in, was a bit of a minor rock star, if you will. At least was in a music video, traveled the country with a band.
You could say world. I went to Europe.
Okay, so he traveled the world in a band. They got big enough to the point where there was a budgeted music video that he's bringing up now. And, I guess, things happen. He ends up deciding that sports radio is in his future.
Lucky me.
Lucky you. I don't know if financially that was the right call, but you made it happen. And now you're sitting here and you're going back and you were the one out of us 4 between us, the Harmonica Hunk Planet Steve-O, DA, that was in a music video. And you're saying from an intern zooming in and out on an iPhone, 4 of us dressed like idiots, you felt like that came out better than one that was pumped in with a budget, and I think you had a model in yours and the whole deal.
There was a male, a female actor. There was a car with a camera on it that we shot scenes in the street.
Wow.
I mean, the guy that did our music video, he literally did a Fallout music video, Soulja Boy.
So he's worked with real acts.
Yeah.
And you felt that this music video that we made with Steve-O shredding a harmonica, me playing a blow-up guitar, you playing drumsticks on nothing, and D.A. dressed like the Mad Hatter came out better than that one.
Yes. Well, to be completely fair, I was in this one a little bit more than I was in the other one.
Ooh, was there a little dissension in the band?
Well, there was kind of a lot of the shots were involving the model and the male-female relationship between the two actors.
Right. You guys sold out.
So I was in
the
live band shots.
And that, let's be honest, hurt you a little bit.
Yeah, I go back and I remember showing it to you, and you're like, where are you? Are you actually in this thing?
Stings a little bit.
What? You make this video to show your friends? No, it was on MTV.
That's pretty cool, though, that you were on MTV. I don't think this video is going to be on MTV anytime soon. But nonetheless, I'll take your stamp of approval that it is that good. Now, while we were filming this, obviously we looked ridiculous, and the song was being played, and DA obviously in the editing had pumped up the song, the Poison song in the background on the iMovie Maker. But when we were hearing the song, we would hear it very lightly on my phone, off YouTube, which you could barely hear.
Can I amend my previous statement?
Yeah.
The actual making of the other one was a little bit better because you could actually hear the song that we were trying to mimic.
Right. This was very low budget, so we couldn't hear anything. So we just looked like fools because anybody walking the streets of Manhattan or driving past couldn't hear anything that we were doing. We couldn't even hear it, and we were just basically lip-syncing the whole thing dressed ridiculously. Now, the outfits we were wearing, obviously, Zubaz provided our pants. Appreciate it. Love the Zubaz. And we just all wore different stuff. Looked ridiculous. I had the wig on, the whole thing. What I found was interesting, James, was as ridiculous as we looked, you had told me something that your girlfriend had told you that, does it scare you that you actually look normal in the music video?
Right. Her line to me after she'd seen a couple of the still shots that DA posted on Instagram and on Twitter, she said,
The DA show.
Does it bother you that everyone else looks like they're pretending and you look like you're serious?
When you said that, I hadn't thought about that. I look back and absolutely right, because you have the tattoos that you cover up at work with everything. You just look like you belong, like that was your scene. And we just look like total posers around you. A little intimidating. Did you feel at home, or you felt ridiculous?
I felt ridiculous. I felt like I was being goofy.
Interesting. I don't think.
But I guess I didn't look. I look like, and I'm twirling the drumsticks around, playing on the cones, jumping off the fire hydrants.
Now there are several ridiculous moments to take away from both the filming and the music video.
Can I bring up a ridiculous moment that was not actually on the video?
Absolutely, that's what I was going to bring up. Your most ridiculous moment of the whole shoot.
Most ridiculous moment of the entire shoot, when the four of us are taking turns jumping off this fire hydrant.
Right.
And this guy comes over, and literally on a non-crowded street, we're the only people on the street.
Right.
And this guy comes over and starts taking our picture.
That was a little cool, yet freaky and creepy.
But what is he going to do
with
with the pictures?
Well, he's going to either put them on Instagram, maybe hashtag the Freaks of New York, something like that.
Hashtag West Village Freaks.
Yeah, because we just look like idiots. So that was cool. Maybe he was a tourist. So, look what these idiots doing in the New York streets. I thought that was interesting. So that was the most ridiculous moment for you. Two of them for me, and I think they both involve three of them, actually. All involve Steve-O. Number one, we had discussed this on the air.
He took charge a little bit too much for me.
He was a little bossy.
Yeah.
Planet Steve-O was a little bossy. But there was a tour bus sitting on one of the streets we were filming, and Steve-O, overly exciting, comes up with this idea. We got to get us coming off the tour bus. That would look cool. Now, granted, at the time, it sounded like a cool idea, but knowing me, I'm not a man on the street kind of guy. I was intimidated. I'm not going to go over and ask some guy to
can't
off the
exactly
bus.
send the bus driver an email.
Right, exactly. A little text message. Steve-O goes right up to this guy, basically climbs on the bus and asks him, and the guy makes up some excuse that he just finished eating lunch and he had to get the heck out of there. The poor guy probably thought he had the best parking spot in the world and made sure he trucked it after there. He got rid of it, wanted no part of us coming on the bus, so it was a failed experiment. Now, the problem is, what we had wanted to do was kind of mock that we were walking off and almost film us from like the side walking like past we could have pulled it off, walking past the park doors.
You could have pulled it off without anyone.
Right, and we're trying to tell Steve we could do this, and he's running after the bus. Steve, don't do that. And
crossing the street, almost getting hit by a car.
Oh, man, he, just like an idiot Steve was. So we ruined that shot because he had to try to play hero. Another Planet Steve-O moment, the jumping off the fire hydrants. Now, if you notice, the jumping off the fire hydrants is one omission of the four of us, and that's me. I know my game. I know my athletic ability. That's a cobblestone road on a slant. I'm not getting up on a fire hydrant and leaping my, chunky ass off of that fire. Not happening. So I was omitted. Another guy who should have omitted himself was Steve-O there, too.
He couldn't balance on it.
He could not. Now, from the shots, you get a very quick Steve jumps off, waves his hands back. You probably wouldn't notice if you were watching this video. By the way, if you check out the video on youtube.com/The DA Show, it's there. Facebook.com/The DA Show, it's there. Steve-O couldn't balance. His knees were shaking on that thing, and it took him about 9 shots to finally be able to jump off that fire hydrant. Why he couldn't swallow his pride like I did and not do it, I don't understand.
But he couldn't even hold it. He the shot that we ended up using, he held on the top of the fire hydrant for about a second and a half.
Right.
And then just fell backwards.
It made no sense. I don't understand why he did it. Steve-O moment number 3. Really don't get a lot of this in the music video, but Steve-O, you get it in the pictures. Steve-O was obsessed with the Gentleman's Club that was around the corner. It would look cool, man. We got to get us coming out of the Gentleman's Club. Finally, DA let Steve-O film himself walking in basically the outdoor walkway of the Gentleman's Club. We never actually went in to try to look cool. But, man, he would not give up on that Gentleman's Club thing.
No, he kind of gets an idea in his head, and he doesn't want to let go of it until he can execute it.
I bet you when Steve-O was a baby, he was probably the best kid to potty train in the world. He had the idea, I have to do this. I bet you he went in like one day.
Yeah.
You would think that's the way he is. So I really don't understand. Overall, I was happy. I'm very happy with the way the video came out. I, like you, had my reservations. I was all in on having a good time. We have done some ridiculous stuff in the short history of the DA Show. But, we've had the chicken challenge. And since we started the new time slot with you and Steve-O, The chicken challenge was our first moment. This kind of was that second ridiculous moment, and we had done a bunch of them on the overnight where I think we've really come alive there and shown just how goofy and how dumb the show yet fun could be.
It was pretty ridiculous.
It was.
I never told this to DA. His mullet and the hat,
right?
He kind of looked like an 80s wrestler.
An 80s wrestler? Interesting.
Without all, the steroided up muscles.
Right, of course. DA's a string bean there. He's not exactly sitting there with his arms looking like they're a couple puffy clouds. You're right. He did have the 80s wrestler look. The microphone also he used was ridiculous, too. There are little things. It's almost like if you went back and played pop-up video. That would be good to do. If we did our own version of pop-up video and point out the little things that maybe if you watch it once, you don't realize. Like the recorder that DA is playing is actually a Cars recorder, the Pixar movie Cars. The harmonica with Steve, just shredding. There's little things. The jerseys that we pull up, how the Ruben Drones was in there randomly. A game of I Spy, if you will, really.
The Ruben Drones jersey. I mean, what were you thinking when you bought a Ruben Drones jersey?
Backstory on the Ruben Drones jersey. I had to hook up a guy that worked at Modell's, big-time employee discount. And at that point, I had nothing to lose. I was living at home, not paying rent, anything like that. I loved collecting a good Giant jersey, and Ruben Drones at that point was a touchdown machine. So I collected. I thought that was a good buy.
All right, I'm going to give you a little quiz here.
All right.
How many yards, regular season rushing yards, did Ruben Drones have as a member of the New York Football Giants?
500. Less?
A lot less.
100.
A little bit more.
170.
275.
So I have a jersey of a player in the Giants who rushed in his career with the team for 275 yards.
Yes.
He had to have at least 7 touchdowns, though, with the team.
He had 6 rushing touchdowns.
Okay. You know what? That's a solid purchase by me. How many people do you think have the Ruben Drones Giant jersey to this day?
You might be the only one.
And how many of those Drones jerseys that are out there surfaced in a music video the way we did?
You know what? I bet we could get Ruben Drones to come on the show.
All right. Well, listen. Are you doing the booking now?
No. But
trying to make my
think
life
it's a
more
great
difficult?
idea that you have his jersey.
I do. I think it's great. I have a lot of those jerseys, and I was happy that I was able to show it off with the likes of a Vince Young, Chad Johnson / Ocho Cinco, Reggie Bush. There were a lot of good jerseys that made cameos in that.
You got a lot of jerseys.
You know what? That was another point, too. If you notice the jersey shot, we're all holding them, and one by one you could see us all holding our jersey. The intern that shot at Brian did a great job. But that was a tough moment for him at that point. For a lot of those listeners who don't realize, DA had to explain to this intern, Brian, several times how he just wanted to kind of slide step to get the shot. Because, again, we're not working with all these panoramic cameras. We're working with an iPhone.
But then you got Steve-O waving his Chad Johnson jersey like it's a flag.
Right.
Do you really?
So you're saying
complicating it a little bit.
So Steve-O complicated it, but, man, I felt, Brian, that was a rough moment for him.
Yeah.
You could tell DA was like, okay, we had made it this far, but, boy, that one was tough to get through. But, yeah, so if you like the music video, it's there on youtube.com/The DA Show. Now, we have to get to the more pressing issue. I have to take heat on this. I've done a lot of studying since I said this on the air. I was dead wrong on Christopher Columbus. I was dead wrong. I thought he came over with the Nina Pinta Santa Maria, which are his boats, right?
Yes.
I got the boats right.
You got the boats right.
I thought he came over, discovered North America, if you will, and landed on Plymouth Rock with his boats and his pilgrims. They rocked out. They made good with the Native Americans, had a little Thanksgiving feast, and that's how North America was founded. However, I was wrong.
I was thinking about this. That would be like if you confused George Washington with George Bush. That's like the number of years difference that you are.
Which is crazy, but when you think about back then, it all kind of ties into one. Now, to be fair, I slacked off towards my high school years, even though this might be a junior high thing you learn.
Try elementary school, buddy.
I don't know where I got this from. The way DA explained it with Christopher Columbus basically touching the tip of the Indies there. What? If you ask me, Columbus, a little bit of a fraud, no? I mean,
why don't we have Amerigo Vespucci Day?
Yeah,
Vespucci?
You know what I mean? All these other... Leif Erikson was the one to discover... I don't want to get this wrong. He discovered Canada? Something like that? Nova Scotia? Leif Erikson.
He's regarded as the first European to land on North America.
Okay, so I knew there was something, but I think he landed up north there.
Yeah, I think he was up north too.
Okay, so I got something like that wrong. Like, he should be more well-regarded. I mean, Columbus basically proved that... Magellan proved the world wasn't flat. Columbus proved essentially that, okay, there was life over there in the Indies. You got to go. How much further you got to get? I mean, to get to Boston. What are you kidding me? I mean, it's ridiculous. So do you know the first guy that landed at Plymouth Rock there with the Pilgrims and rocked out to Thanksgiving? We didn't establish this.
I don't. Did you look it up?
That I can't find for the life of me. What? All right, so the Pilgrims and Native Americans kind of get combined there, and we celebrate Thanksgiving. We love it. Can we get a focal point guy there? Can we get a guy to credit? We got nothing.
Can we get a guy to credit?
I want a guy there. We got nothing. I don't know who. I love Thanksgiving, and I'm sitting here my whole life. I can't get enough of the football, the food, the whole thing. I unbutton my pants. I got the fat pants on during the night game, and I'm sitting there the whole time thinking, thank goodness for Christopher Columbus landing his ass there. And guess what? I was wrong, because Columbus Day falls in October. So if you do the math there, Columbus, the day Columbus hits North America, we celebrate his Columbus Day. 6 weeks later, everything's good with the Native Americans. Let's pop out Thanksgiving. The timeline lined up. I don't think I'm that nuts. Come on.
That really the timeline in your head? That's pretty impressive.
Think about it. It makes sense. Do you think I'm the only person in the world who thinks that over the age of 20? There's got to be some other confusion.
I mean, there's definitely some other idiots out there, but...
Listen, I'll be the first. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I was obviously an idiot. I will own up to it and take it. But, man, I truthfully think they need to do a better job in these history classes. We need to get a name behind that first Pilgrim who landed at Plymouth Rock. And that guy deserves a parade. That guy deserves a holiday.
But I think it was a team effort.
Okay,
they
you know
left
what?
England to get rid of the religious persecution they were feeling in England.
So much like Super Bowl 36. Now, if you look back at Super Bowl 36, do you know what the significance of Super Bowl 36 is?
No.
Okay, for years, up until Super Bowl 35, the teams were introduced by players. You either got your defense or your offense that came out, did their dance. Remember Super Bowl 35? Ray Lewis had his famous dance when he came out for that Super Bowl. Super Bowl 36, the Rams get introduced player by player. The Pats come out. They decide to get introduced as a team.
Right.
And that was like the team thing. Now, every year since then, everybody has to get introduced as a team. And I think that sucks. I used to love when the players got announced individually. So what you're saying now is the Pilgrims, much like the Patriots in Super Bowl 36, came out and they get introduced as a team. Nobody gets their own day. Nobody gets the recognition. And idiots like me are thinking Christopher Columbus settled that. So now Christopher Columbus is sitting there. He's puffing his chest. He's got his own holiday. People love him for finding North America. But meanwhile, the guy basically discovered Atlantis. I mean, geez.
Can we bring it full circle?
Yeah.
One of my favorite all-time sports memories.
Right.
Giants, Bills, Super Bowl 25.
Okay.
Giants defense getting introduced wearing Zubaz.
Is that right? I'm a Giant fan. I didn't realize that. They got
I think
introduced
they're wearing
Zubaz.
Zubaz.
Zubaz tie-in here. We go from music video to Christopher Columbus to comparing the Pilgrims to the Patriots in Super Bowl 36 to James's favorite all-time Super Bowl moment, Giants getting introduced in Zubaz.
I might be wrong, but I distinctly remember Steve Diassi walking out in Zubaz.
That could happen. So that would take you to 1990 there when Zubaz was in their heyday. It shows you how 2015, here we are rocking these in the streets of New York City on a music video. And by the way, if you didn't think those were cool and you can laugh at them all you want, Zubaz is seriously comfortable. I would go out there and get yourself a pair. Football season, they're great. Nothing I love more than just sitting there chowing on nachos on a Sunday in my giant Zubaz. And if you got a little gas, plenty of ripple effect room there in the comfort room. You know, James, you could attest. I'm sure you wore the Raiders pants. Tell me there wasn't any gas pass. Let's be honest.
I really, really need to not work weekends anymore so I can enjoy the full Zubaz Sunday experience because I'm not wearing them to work.
There is little better than sitting November, got a nice candle lit, food in the oven, Red Zone on, NFL Sunday on, if you're lucky, 2 TVs, Zubaz on. It doesn't get much better than that, James. It doesn't get much better than that. So you will say, to wrap this all up too, was that the most idiotic thing you've ever heard me say? I think I've said worse. I think I actually made kind of sense with the Columbus thing.
The difference in this one was that you felt like you were pretty embarrassed by what you said.
I was.
You've said worse, but I've never seen you feel so shamed by what you said.
I think I was more shocked than anything. It really was.
That you just really had no idea what you were talking about?
Yeah. Right? You know what, James? I live and I learn. I was wrong. I own up to it, and I move on. And that's the moral of the story.
All right.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you guys, as always, for listening to the Permission Granted podcast. Remember to check us out on SoundCloud and on iTunes. You can search iTunes, DA Show, CBS Sports Radio. We'll pop right up there. And every show, too, is fully podcasted there on iTunes and SoundCloud as well. YouTube.com/DA Show. You can follow me on Twitter at MrazCBS. James, Twitter
At James Ward, CBS.
Let's keep the James Ward climb going. Thank you guys for listening. We will catch you next week. Let's go, Pilgrims.